फिर इस क्षेत्र में और कुछ भी जो बातें होने वाली हैं उसके बारे में जानकारी?
Maybe one more question before. Yes, please. Idhar aage. Please go ahead.
You mentioned that the Strategic Partnership Council MOU is going to be signed. Now, who will be part of this council? At what level is it going to be held? And when will the first meeting is going to be held?
Thank you.
Yeah.
See, as regards terrorism, I think you would have seen the very clear-cut references to terrorism in the joint statement which we had issued during the visit of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince in February. And you're also aware that Saudi Arabia had condemned the Pulwama terrorist attack. And even earlier, if you recall, I think in 2016, they had condemned the terrorist attack in Uri. So I think there is no doubt that both our countries are equally concerned about terrorism. And you will also recall that India itself had condemned the missile and other, the drone strikes on, inter alia, the Saudi oil installations and facilities. So therefore, terrorism has been an important aspect of our discussions and our cooperation. And yes, you are right. I think it is the third country. You are absolutely right. It was UAE and then Bahrain. In the last visit of Prime Minister, we had signed the MOU in Bahrain, and this will be the third country we'll have it. And it's very important, particularly in the context of Saudi Arabia, to have the Rupee card. As far as defense cooperation is concerned, we already have a defense cooperation agreement with Saudi Arabia, and there is a clear intention on the part of both countries to take the defense cooperation forward. And apart from what I mentioned to you about the joint naval exercise, the first ever joint naval exercises, which is going to take place starting end of the year or beginning of next year, and also the exchange of visits I had mentioned on defense industry. India is doing a lot of training as well of Saudi defense personnel. In fact, the Saudi cadet officers are being trained in the NDA course in Pune. And we also have their officers in the NDC in Delhi and also the Defense Services Staff College in Wellington. 26 Saudi officers, they are attending the customized cyber security course in Gujarat at the Gujarat Forensic Science University, which is in Gandhinagar. And you also seen in the last joint statement, there were references to the maritime security and also the fact that they were interested in looking at the security of the Indian Ocean region, and keeping in mind the interest of Saudi Arabia in the IOR area. We had a Royal Navy force which visited India in August this year, and they went to this Information Fusion Center of the Indian Ocean region, which has been set up by our Indian Navy. And so therefore there is definitely a lot of focus on this area, and we are hoping that now in the field of defense industries that we will be able to take this cooperation forward. The third is on the Strategic Partnership Council. The Strategic Partnership Council will be chaired by the Prime Minister and the Crown Prince, and just below the apex we will have two verticals. One of the verticals will be headed by the Foreign Minister, External Affairs Minister. The other one will be by the Commerce and Industry / Trade Ministers. So that those will be the two verticals, and below these verticals will be the different joint working groups. I think if you look at it, I'll be heading one of them from the side of the foreign ministers, security, defense and other areas, and Niti Aayog will be, I think, handling the other aspect relating to economic, trade and investment relations. So this is broadly the structure which we have in mind, and as of now we don't yet have a date on which we will be launching the Strategic Partnership Council, but the agreement will be signed during the meeting of Prime Minister with His Majesty, the King of Saudi Arabia.
I'll take the next set of 3 questions. Is it an annual or?
Yeah, it's every 2 years. Every 2
years.
years. Good.
Yeah. Ashok.
Sir, you spoke about that bilateral on civil aviations between 2 sides. Can you elaborate about the seat sharing and apart from this?
No, they had a meeting on, I think, on the 17th of this month, just last week. They have both agreed, or rather we have both agreed to enhance the quota. At this point of time, I don't want to disclose the enhancement, the precise quota, but this will be during the visit. We will be announcing the enhancement of the quota. But we have taken care of the sensitivities on the part of the Indian carriers, and we have been able to happily come to an agreement on the enhanced quota.
Manish.
सर मेरा सवाल कश्मीर को लेकर था। आपको लग रहा है कि कश्मीर पर इंडिया के साथ एक पेज पर सऊदी अरब कब तक दिखाई देगा, क्योंकि बीच में काफ़ी डिफरेंसेस दिखाई देते हैं?
Sridhar.
Just a sort of add on to this, now we are approaching October 31st. Is the PM expected to brief the Saudi King on the latest developments in Kashmir? Because the Saudi leadership has been briefed earlier also, even right from August this year. So is that expected to figure prominently during the talks with the Saudi King and the Saudi Crown Prince? Thank you.
See, I don't want to speculate on what the Prime Minister will be taking up with the Crown Prince. But let me assure you that Saudi Arabia has shown understanding on the recent developments vis-a-vis Jammu and Kashmir. And I'm sure that their stand has had a salutary effect on Pakistan.
Thank you. I don't see any other hand. Thank you all for joining, and I'll be right back.
That was the Ministry of External Affairs briefing the media primarily on the Prime Minister's visit to Saudi Arabia.